All right, guys, welcome back to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews. Today, I'm talking about the top 5 things you need to know before you buy your next watch. Now, I'm speaking from personal experience, been collecting watches for almost 35 years, and if there's a mistake to be made, I've made it. So let me jump right into number 1, and to me, this is the most important before you start any search, is knowing the right case diameter for your wrist size. Me, I'm right at a 6 1/4 inch wrist, so I know that 36 to 38.5 is my sweet spot. So the minute I go to Ashford or Joma Shop, Chrono 24, eBay, I'm always going right to that case diameter and plugging that in to make sure that I can go ahead and consolidate my search down to the watches that I know are going to fit my wrist. Case diameter is number 1 before you do anything. Next would be movement, but that's common sense. You're probably going to know if you want mechanical or quartz. But number 1, case diameter. So number 2 is stop buying like cheap mechanical watches. I made this mistake often, buying Seiko 5s, Orients, Invicta, Fossil, Timex, Vostok. Over the years, I thought Poljot. I remember I bought a bunch of Poljots back in the early 2000s. Cheap Russian watches, they had no resale value. I couldn't almost give them away when I sold them on eBay. It was a waste of my money. I should have put that money in a nicer watch back then, but I didn't know better. So cheap mechanical watches, it's not bad to have 1 or 2 in your collection as a beater watch, and I have them, but don't base your whole collection on Seiko 5s and Invictas and Vostoks and Orients. 1 or 2 and leave it at that, and focus on the watch that you really want in your collection. Number 3, money pits. I call these money pits because I've spent money on them. Number 1, like obscure movements, Bulova Accutrons, LED watches, jump hours, things where parts don't even exist anymore. And the watchmaker is going to charge you an arm and a leg to try to source a part to get the thing up and running. I know because I've been down that road. And then you go to sell the watch. People on eBay don't care how much you spent to get the thing up and running. They're just going to look at the total value that that watch has on the market. So stay away from these weird, obscure vintage watches that you can't really find parts for. And understand, a lot of these watches were abused. They were never serviced. They've got cracked jewels. Rotors are displaced. Crystals people can't find anymore. I mean, you name it, I ran into all kinds of problems. But I didn't have a lot of money back then, so I thought rehabilitating some of these old watches was the way to go. Stay away from it, trust me. Now, if it's a Rolex or an Omega, or Patek, of course, those watches are worth the investment. But just stay away from the money pits in general. Focus on something better. Number 4, I call it Micr Brand snobbery. This is where I kind of gotten to the point in my collecting that, hey, I know better than everybody else that wants a Rolex, that wants an Omega, that wants these nice watches. I'm going to buy the weird Micr Brand out there that is kind of off the beaten path and no one knows about it, and it's going to be cool and people are going to ask me about it. It's a waste of money. Now, there's a few Micr Brands out there, and really they've kind of gotten out of the Micr Brand market. Like Christopher Ward, you could say started as a Micr Brand, but they've elevated themselves to a higher place in the market. So stay away from those lower tier oddball Micr Brands that are likely going to have Chinese movements in them or cheap Seiko movements in them, and they're worthless. And you're really not getting anything. Just put your money into what you really want. Number 5, and this kind of goes with the Micr Brand a little bit, is second best. And I'm going to lump this in with like homage pieces. Like if you buy an homage Aquaterra, an homage Submariner, you look at these homage Datejust, the stuff is just worthless. You might as well save that money up and put it into the watch you really want. If you're going to buy a Pagani Datejust homage off AliExpress, put that money in savings and maybe buy an older used Datejust and have it actually serviced. Don't throw your money away on the second best because it looks like the Aquaterra, because it looks like the Submariner, because it looks like the Cartier Santos. All these worthless homage pieces are a waste of money. And I'm just telling you, you might as well save it up. You're not getting anything that you're ever going to get really any money back out of. And when you buy these homage fakeries, who's going to service it? When it goes south, you're stuck with it, and no one wants it. I mean, you spend $100 on a Pagani from AliExpress, and you put it on eBay. The person that's going to look at that is probably going to say, well, he's selling it because it's trash, and I might as well just go buy one from AliExpress if I want it that badly. Stay away from these second best options. Save your money, or buy a watch that actually you can get some value back out of. You know, not everybody has the money to go buy a Rolex or go buy their Grail watch. But if you're itching for a nice mechanical watch, buy something, buy a Hamilton, buy something that you actually will get some value back out of and people really want and is a quality built product. Don't buy these homages that no one is ever going to entertain buying when you really do decide you sell your collection and get something else. My channel's really here to give advice, explain the things that I've been through. I don't sell anything. No one sends me any watches. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I'm really here to give you my experiences and my watch collecting. And I really want everybody watching this, put your experience down in the comments as well. What have I missed? What are some pitfalls that everyone watching this video needs to look out for? That's what we're all here for. Hey, and as always, I appreciate you tuning in to Cold Pizza Watch Reviews.